Much of British airspace could close tomorrow because of Iceland's volcanic ash cloud. The government is warning it'll be Britain's busiest airports that will be worst hit. Ed Miliband will challenge his brother and run for the leadership of the Labour Party. Violence continues on the streets of Bangkok as the crisis in Thailand deepens. And it's crunch time for Portsmouth as they take on Chelsea in the FA Cup final. A very good afternoon. Air passengers are being warned that parts of British airspace may have to close tomorrow if a cloud of volcanic ash from Iceland heads further south. The Department for Transport has warned it could affect air travel until Tuesday. Well, Joe Lynam is at Heathrow for us now. Joe.
Yeah, good afternoon and welcome to a very sunny and very busy Heathrow Airport. Europe's busiest airport, though, could become a very quiet place over the next few days, especially if the wind changes.
Just when you thought it was safe to take to the skies again, the ash is back. The latest forecasts from the Met Office and the Department for Transport seem to suggest that parts of the UK, including the very busy southeast, are likely to be closed between Sunday and Tuesday. If so, it would heap even more misery on weary passengers, thousands of whom took days to get back from the last ash shutdown. That grounded 100,000 flights around Europe, stranding 8 million passengers and costing the airlines £1.3 billion, money they want back from taxpayers.
Morning, Mr. Howland. Can you please?
And this is the man who will ultimately be making the decision on whether it's safe to fly, the new Transport Secretary Phil Hammond, alongside the Civil Aviation Authority. Many accused them of being overcautious last time in grounding planes. So now passengers, airlines and the entire new government will all hope that they are judicious this time. We may not even be at the halfway mark yet, but already 2010 is proving to be a year many will want to forget.
Well, the latest from the Met Office suggests that the wind is going to blow from Iceland towards the UK and bring with it more of that ash cloud. Now, that could change by midweek when the wind direction will change and blow further away from the UK. And you may have noticed that may mean that the strike planned for BA starting on Tuesday could be in time for execution, as it were.
Joe, from Heathrow, thank you. The former Energy Secretary Ed Miliband has confirmed that he will stand for the leadership of the Labour Party. His decision pits him against his older brother David, the former Foreign Secretary. Here's our political correspondent, Reeta Chakrabarti.
Hi, Sandra.
Smiles and a handshake as Ed Miliband arrived to announce that he was the second Miliband to throw his hat into the ring for the Labour leadership.
My message to the British people is we will learn from our mistakes. We will be part of your values again. We will be part of your community again.
He criticised aspects of the government to which he had belonged. It had misjudged on immigration and lost trust catastrophically over Iraq. Older brother David made his leadership announcement 3 days ago, surrounded by supporters.
There's now a vacancy for the leadership of the Labour Party, and there will be an election for that post. I will be a candidate in that election.
David Miliband is thought to be the front runner. Aged 44, he was Foreign Secretary in the last government and is a former advisor to Tony Blair. Brother Ed went to the same Oxford College and took the same degree. He's 40, a former cabinet minister and used to be advisor to Gordon Brown.
You do my usual when you're ready.
Will another Gordon Brown ally stop this race from being purely a family affair? Ed Balls, out in his constituency today, would only say that he wanted to talk to voters first.
The fact is, you've got to listen and you've got to hear what the people here are saying. It can't be us debating internally and then talking to the country. You've got to listen to the country, hear what they're saying, understand why they didn't think we were always on their side. That's the only way to make sure we're ready whenever the election comes.
Other possible contenders are Andy Burnham, the former Health Secretary, and John Cruddas, a left-wing backbencher. A potentially wide field. At least the Miliband's mother knows who she's supporting.
That her candidate for the Labour leadership will be John Cruddas.
Reeta Chakrabarti, BBC News.
There have been further violent clashes in Bangkok as soldiers continue to try and control part of an area occupied by anti-government protesters. The Thai army has now designated part of the city as a live firing zone in a warning to protesters. Alistair Leithead reports from Bangkok.
Welcome to Bangkok, what tourists call the land of smiles. But there's a lot of unhappiness in this country, and for another day it was pouring out on the streets of the capital. The troops are trying to break up anti-government protests, which have already lasted weeks, firing shotgun pellets at anyone who came too close. They're just a few hundred meters apart. A short but dangerous dash down the main highway, the mob were not being deterred. Using what they had to take on the army.
It's amazing how chaotic it's become down here. The protesters setting fire to tyres, provoking the military, who are just a short distance away. Those are bangers going off, but the military have been shooting at the protesters here. It shows just how deeply divided Thailand's become.
This anger's been simmering for years. A hatred from the poor against the rich, stirred up by a corrupt former Prime Minister. Passers-by are getting caught up in it. They suspect snipers. The army called this street a live fire zone.
They're shooting sniper from on top this hotel.
There have been more deaths and injuries today in isolated flashpoints, but the Prime Minister said his troops were defending themselves. The protesters still hold the city centre. Trying to move them with force could slip this country further into chaos. Alistair Leithead, BBC News, Bangkok.
A woman has been charged with the attempted murder of Labour MP Stephen Timms. Roshanara Chowdhury stabbed Mr Timms during a constituency meeting in East London yesterday. He's said to be recovering well following surgery. The 21-year-old will appear before magistrates on Monday. Chelsea have won the FA Cup final, beating Portsmouth 1-0 at Wembley. It means they've clinched the league and cup double, as Dan Rowan reports from Wembley.
Come on, Bombay! After relegation and administration, this was Portsmouth's chance for a dream end to a nightmare season. At stake for Chelsea, a league and cup double and a place in history. This was the Premier League's Princes against Pompey's Paupers, although the latter could have taken an unlikely lead, peaking on denied by Czech. Portsmouth's cup run in adversity has defied belief at times this season, and so it proved here, as time and time again their goal enjoyed a charmed life. The woodwork coming to the underdog's rescue no fewer than 5 times in a one-sided first half. Chelsea were beginning to wonder if it wasn't to be their day, especially when this happened. Portsmouth had their chance, but Prince's penalty was poor. Chelsea had survived, and almost immediately, Drogba finally broke the deadlock. The champions had chances to seal it, Lampard also missing from the spot, but 1-0 it stayed. Portsmouth's season to forget ending in more despair. Chelsea able to celebrate the club's first ever double. Dan Rowan, BBC News at Wembley.
Meanwhile, Dundee United have won the Scottish Cup final. They put an end to the fairy tale story of surprise finalists Ross County, beating them 3-0. Laura Maxwell reports from Hampden Park.
It was a modern-day Highland clearance. Ross County rallied a support of 20,000, 4 times the population of their hometown of Dingwall. Dundee United's fans, starved of cup success for 16 years, also eager for the silverware. And the Hampden crowd didn't have to wait too long for the action. County's Gary Miller earning a yellow card for this tackle. United, though, put the free kick over the bar. Dundee United's Danny Swanson got the best chance of the first half, but County cut him off at the pass. They couldn't stop United this time, though. A bungled clearance allowed David Goodwillie to put United 1 ahead, swiftly booked for this celebration. Goodwillie involved again for the second goal, allowing this superb left footer from Craig Conway. And with just minutes to go before the final whistle, Conway did it again, putting Dundee United 3 ahead and ending County's dream.
And And as Dundee United salute their fans, it's been a superb ending to this 125th Scottish Cup final. Dundee United take home the silverware tonight, a superb end as well to their centenary season. Laura Maxwell, BBC News, Hampden.
That's it for now. I'll be back with more from the newsroom at 10:35 on BBC One. Now it's time to join our news teams where you are. Enjoy your evening.